just days before the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow, a damning criticism of current efforts to limit climate change. A UN report predicts that current emissions pledges for 2030 will still result in a 2.7 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the year 2100. Such a rise is likely to have a devastating environmental impact, one that many experts predict would be irreversible.
As world leaders prepare for COP26, this report is so another thundering wake-up call. How many more do we need?
The report also says that updated pledges to reduce greenhouse gas emissions would take just 7.5% off projected 2030 emissions. A 55% reduction is needed if the world is to limit warming to even the 1.5 degree rise set in the Paris Climate Accord.
As the report demonstrates, the world would need 7 times more ambition to keep us on the 1.5 degree track. And this is a yawning gap that we must close in 8 years.
The report comes on the same day that Australia announced new commitments on greenhouse emissions. Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison pledged to reach net zero greenhouse emissions by 2050, a promise previously absent from his election manifesto. But despite the dire warning in the UN report, Morrison said Australia would not budge on a commitment to reduce emissions by only 26% before 2030. Fossil fuels account for around 90% of Australia's current energy mix.
Australians want action on climate change. They're taking action on climate change. But they also want to protect their jobs and their livelihoods. They also want to keep the costs of living down. And they also want to protect the Australian way of life, especially in rural and regional areas.
Saudi Arabia announced last weekend that it would reach net zero by 2060. But to the dismay of environmentalists, it, along with Australia, has said they will continue to mine coal and oil, the lifeblood of their economies. Australia and Saudi Arabia are both members of the G20. In the UN General Assembly Hall on Tuesday, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres delivered a blunt warning to the group.
G20 leaders in particular need to deliver. The time has passed for diplomatic niceties. If governments, especially G20 governments, do not stand up and lead this effort, we are headed for terrible human suffering.
COP26 is set to begin on Sunday, but the latest UN report is yet another reminder of the vast challenges that lie ahead. Kris and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.